Hey, this is Matt once again. What about in the video? This is another paid request, this time for Steve, aka Retro Analog Entertainment. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested, requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for the pilot of T.J. Hooker called The Protectors. Now, I had always heard of T.J. Hooker, but I never had seen the show. Now, I had heard of it from either there were clips or references. Of course, the Showtime, Robert De Niro and Eddie Murphy. William Shatner's in that, and Robert De Niro keeps calling him TJ. Of course, with William Shatner, people always remember him from Star Trek, but less so for this. But did about 5 seasons. It was from 1982 to 1986. And, 5 seasons is not too bad. And I liked the pilot for what it was. Mainly for Shatner. I liked his grandiose acting. I like the way he... People say he chews the scenery, but to me at least it's not boring. It's always entertaining. And he plays T.J. Hooker, a guy who's divorced, whose partner was killed, and there's an investigation behind it. He was a plainclothes cop. He's back to being a uniformed cop, and he almost lights it because he really wants to get the bad guys. And in the pilot, he's training these recruits. Love to weed out airheads and marshmallows, as he says. So it goes from him training these guys, including Adrian Zmed as Romano, Richard Lawson, who I remember as Ryan, one of the investigators in the first Poltergeist, which I believe he's only in the pilot, which I don't know why, because I thought he was decent in his role. And among others, so he's training these guys, as well as dealing with what's going on in his life. And at the same time, you have these two thieves, one redneck, one black. They're so evil that the redneck kills a couple for only $17. And, I mean, it's definitely a product of its time, to me, in a good way. Some would say it's more of a right-wing propaganda show, but to me it's like the cops are the cops, and the bad guys are real bad, and William Shatner's a little bit like a Dirty Harry type. Even at the end, he shoots very similar to how Dirty Harry with the stance and such. I have a feeling that's one of the reasons why William Shatner did this. It was kind of did to do a little bit of his version of Dirty Harry, but probably not as dirty, for TV. I don't know if the pilot needed to be as long as it needed to be, because I don't think it necessitated that length of time, but it was still interesting to watch. I did mainly for William Shatner. The other guys like Adrian Zamid and them didn't mind. You get a little bit into T.J. Hooker's mindset. What legal rules are going through a suspect's mind when he puts 6 slugs into a police officer? Or when he's talking to his former wife, and he's like, "You divorced me. What else do you want?" And she's like, "Blood." And he's like, "Well, I'm fresh out. Go call the Red Cross." I did like that. Now, it's not wall-to-wall action. Now, I don't know if that's with every show that, there's only a little bit of action. It's a TV show from the 80s, but I just, I'm thinking like the A-Team has a decent amount of action. I don't know why I assumed this show would be that way. But you do get some stuff there. At one point, him and some cops stop a sniper. Another point, one of the new recruits is shot. The other is shot and killed. And as Shatner goes, "That badge is a target." And there were moments I didn't mind. I didn't mind, again, Shatner's dialogue, some of his performance. There's a bit there where didn't quite know what was going on. Spoiler, where this guy, they're chasing this guy, and he's got the gun on William Shatner, and Shatner's telling the recruit, shoot, shoot. And it seems like Shatner gets shot, but he doesn't. It was all part of a test where they both have blanks, and it's to show that this guy froze under pressure, and yeah, it's an exercise, and don't want you dead. You're right for something, you're just not right for this. You do get some little bit of action at the end. Just I was hoping for a bit of that Shatner fisticuff that you see in Star Trek. But see, I don't know how the rest of the show is. I don't know how the rest of the show, does it gravitate more toward action and fisticuffs? Is it more a drama? Is it just a mix of both? I mean, like I said, I don't know if it necessitates the running time. Some would say it's a show of its time, but you know, early '80s to me is still better than what we have in today's age. I'll tell you one thing: I got a lot more pleasure out of this than watching the Obi-Wan episode 1, which I'll get to because that was a request. I got a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyment out of this. This is one lady, Deborah Shelton as Lacey. She was easily the worst actress. She was awful. She was non-emotional. She was the girlfriend of one of the recruits, the new rookies. She's talking like this. Like, how's it going? Is that a rooster I hear nearby? Yes, it is. It's in every video. Like I said, there's a guy, Richard Lawson. He was the black guy in Poltergeist. I say that because there's only one black guy in Poltergeist. And I liked him in that. I liked him in this. I don't know why he was only in the pilot, though. I mean, maybe around this time he got the role of Poltergeist and he thought he'd have a bigger movie career. Sadly, that didn't work out. I don't know, some other, from pilot to show. But yeah, I mean, at least I was looking it up. It showed he was only in the pilot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's in more of the show. I don't know. If he is, that's good. If not, I don't get it. I actually would have liked if him and Shatner partnered up. Because Adrian Zmed was okay, but he didn't really make a strong impression with me in the pilot. Not that he was bad, but again, the Richard Lawson guy made more of an impression to me. And even Adrian Zmed, who's going to be Shatner's partner, he's nowhere to be found in the final act, which I thought was weird. The spoilers, the final act is they're near this like burger place. Shatner is with Richard Lawson, who was wounded, he's got a sling on, and other cops. And he's talking about his experience in the military, stuff of that nature. They hear gunshots, they get over, and Adrian Zmed is nowhere to be found. So I just think it's weird that a guy who's going to be one of our main people, who's going to be the main partner of Shatner, he's nowhere to be found in your final action bit where you're deal with the bad guys we've seen throughout this episode. And Shatner gets his dirty hairy stance, shoots at the car, rolls out of the way, car flips, guy's dead, and Richard Lawson says something to Shatner, and then Shatner says, well, I always thought sanity was overrated. Which I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that line at all. Sanity was overrated. So yeah, I don't know how the rest of the show is and what it details, but I believe Heather Locklear comes in in future seasons. But she's not in, like, I think the first season. She's definitely not in the pilot. But I know Heather Locklear would be a part of the show later on. Yeah, I think they said it was on for 5 years. And this is around the same time Shatner was doing Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I'm sure in his mind it's like, well, like other people, they thought Star Trek II would be the last Star Trek film. Just the first Star Trek, I enjoy, but it made money, but people thought it was a disappointment because it didn't make Star Wars type of money. So it made enough money to do a sequel, but again, people thought, well, this is going to be the last one because, we'll do one more, we'll get some money out of it. They probably thought, okay, it's going to make less money than the first. Boom, it's done. But then Star Trek 2, I don't think they realized how huge Star Trek 2 would be. And how, for a lot of people, they found it much more satisfying than the first one. And you go, yes, this is what Star Trek should be. And then Star Trek 3 and 4, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I have a feeling Shatner took this job, number one, to have a gig again as a star, but also he didn't think Star Trek would keep going on. Plus, I know he didn't just want to be the Star Trek guy. And, throughout the 80s, I'm trying to think of other movies he did other than Star Trek. I know he's done some, but I think of him more for TV work. Or the 90s, where there's that Tech War show. He was the bad guy in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, which was a fun movie. They know never to screw with me. That's a fun parody with Emilio Estevez, Samuel Jackson, Tim Curry. You have like Whoopi Goldberg and Frank McRae from Last Action Hero, and even Scotty, James Doohan is in it. I mean, you got Bruce Willis has a cameo. You have Charlie Sheen, Corey Feldman. I mean, you got like everybody in Loaded Weapon 1. And then he also was the bad guy in Land of the Free, where Jeff Speakman was the hero. So you had Jeff Speakman versus William Shatner, which is pretty cool. No fist fights, but although that would have been cool, Shatner trying to do his Captain Kirk fight against Jeff Speakman, but that's a fun Jeff Speakman film, Land of the Free. I think that was one of the few Jeff Speakman did with PM Entertainment, I believe. Should have done a lot more with them. I think maybe 2 he did with them. Anyway, I'm going off tangent. But yeah, T.J. Hooker, definitely an ode. Not an ode, but it's a... I could see as a show, I would have watched this as a kid. Curious to see what would happen next. If you like William Shatner, if you like those old school cop and robber type of shows, where the good is good and the bad is evil, then it has some lines of dialogue I enjoyed. The rest of the cast, other than that Deborah Shelton lady as Lacey, the rest of the cast did fine. The villains definitely were evil. Like I said, I just don't know if it needed that long of a running time. But other than that, and if so, I wish. It's hard to say you want more action because it's a TV show. They can only do so much. So there's that. With that said, it was fun. It was fun to watch. It was fun to take a gander at, as they say. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.